Hi everyone, hope you're having a great day. We want to welcome you to the second session of our fellowship, and today's subject will be networking with esports companies. But today we'll be focused on experience, challenges, and policies of creating and working along esports companies. Our goal is to provide you with a general overview of the esports company world, as well as for you to hear firsthand experience around the subject. I will begin by presenting one of today's remarkable speakers, Mr. Terence. Terence is currently heads the digital entertainment cluster of Hong Kong Cyperport Management Company Limited, taking charge of Cybersport public mission in facilitating digital entertainment and its sports industry development. Possessing 20 years of work experience in the digital tech industry, Terence at Cyperport devotes himself to a broad spectrum of domains, including digital entertainment and esports, education technology, STEM education, startup incubation, digital rights management, and digital inclusion, and so forth. Besides, Mr. Terence once represented Cyperport to serve as secretariat for the e-health record internship program and the Direct Cyber Centuries Alliance. Terence has demonstrated extensive experience and capabilities in business development, marketing, projects management, and administration. Having a strong dedication to serve the industry, Terence has been appointed different roles by various organizations such as members of the advisory panel, vetting committee, and organizing committee, including accreditation exercise panel member for the Hong Kong Council for Accreditation of Academic and Vocational Qualifications, advisory peer group member of the Bachelor and Business Administration with honors in sports and esports management of Hong Kong Metropolitan University, external academic assessor for higher diploma in esports, the University of Hong Kong School of Professional and Continuing Education, betting member for the Hong Kong ICT Awards Digital Entertainment Award, betting member for the Hong Kong Game Enhancement and Promotion Scheme, betting member for the Hong Kong Digital Entertainment Industry French Graduate Support Scheme, and member for the Esports Committee and the Hong Kong Football Association, between others. Terence is passionate about promoting digital tech, innovation, and application, as well as career development to youth. He's always invited to be a guest speaker or guest of honor in various esports. He's always invited speaker or guest of honor in various esports, youth, and tech education events, as well as a judge in different industries awards and competitions, such as Hong Kong ICT Awards, the Student Innovation Award, the Greater Bay Area STEM Excellence Award, RoboMaster Youth Tournament, Hong Kong Outstanding IT School Awards, and Hong Kong International Student Innovation Contest. Now, I let you with Mr. Terence himself.
Thank you. Thanks for such a very detailed introduction of me. It's really my honor to be here. Actually, Cyperport has been supporting APRU, this Esports Fellowship Program for some years. I'm so happy that APRU is also one of our Cyperport office tenants here. So actually, my office is located in the same building of APRU's office. So we have very close partnership over the past few years, especially when we have featured the APRU metagame conference in the past 3 years, together with our signature event. So I'm so glad to be here to introduce a bit more about Cyperport to you. You can see that from my virtual background, this the actual view of Cyperport. What Cyperport is actually I can say that is one of the Hong Kong government's public organization with the main focus to promote digital technology. In Hong Kong, we have two technology parks. Cyperport is one of them. Cyperport focuses on digital technology, innovation, and also business innovation. We are actually a huge digital tech startups incubator in the region. I will introduce a bit more our achievement in supporting, nurturing startups. Maybe let me share my PowerPoint to you so that you can follow my presentation easier. Give me 1 second, please. All right, I think all of you can see my presentation PowerPoint, right? Okay, Cyperport, as what I have said, Cyperport is one of the Hong Kong government's public organization with the key focus to promote digital technology. Actually, Cyperport in Hong Kong we have been here for 20 years. So this year, we are going to celebrate our 20th anniversary. Right now, our community has grown to a number of close to 2,000 technology companies. We have some office tenants here. They are bigger one, like the famous Microsoft. They have been our tenants here since day one. And we have a large number of companies, technology companies working in our co-working spaces, a bit like the sort of WeWork arrangement. And we also have a number of incubators, meaning that those companies who have joined our incubation program, they are working on site. And we have a large number of companies, they are working off site, but they are attaching to Cyberport's community. So among these 2,000 companies, we have 6 unicorns from in our community, from our community. One of the famous unicorn on the gaming side is Animal Brands. You may have heard their names. They are now investing a lot of effort, money in building the Web3 ecosystem. And we also have some unicorns on fintech, smart traveling, and smart logistics, something like that. We also have some companies, they have acquired the virtual bank license and also virtual insurance license. Cyberport try to support the industry, the digital technology company. We by some grouping the companies into certain clusters. On the application level, we have fintech cluster. We also have a smart living or smart city cluster. And also the digital entertainment and resort cluster is led by me. And on the technology level, we'll focus on nurturing companies working on AI and big data, blockchain, and cybersecurity. But right now, you know that this kind of technologies, whatever AI, big data, blockchain, this kind of technologies are being applied into different businesses. Fintech companies, they make use of AI, big data. They also focus on cybersecurity. For the gaming industry, you can imagine that we can do well if we don't invest our effort into AI, big data, and many games. You know, right now they are moving towards Web3 blockchain games, and because many game companies, they are offering a lot of digital assets. So cybersecurity is another area they have to focus on. We have a comprehensive entrepreneurship support system. This kind of nurturing entrepreneurial support system has been running in Hong Kong for 20 years. We start from the university level, And we have a Cyperport Creative Microfund to provide some seed money to those teams with innovative ideas. We have a 2-year incubation program. We provide financial assistance to the companies. They can develop their own business basing on their business idea. We help them to go to market, to find investor, to raise fund, to acquire talents from various areas. We also provide them with marketing support. They can join overseas accelerator programs. Cyperport also invests in the potential companies together with their lead investor. So we have various level of support to an entrepreneur. Quite a number of game companies have joined our micro fund program or even the incubation program. Our next speaker, Charles, actually he is one of our incubation company. So maybe later on, Charles will share a bit more about his entrepreneur journey with you. My screen seems has been freezed. Okay, let me try again.
We can see Terence. Yes, it's
Okay.
moving now.
Is it okay now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, yes. As what I have said, I am managing a cluster of digital entertainment and esports companies. In our cluster, we have around 170 companies. They are working in different areas. The digital entertainment includes esports and now includes also sport technology and also art technology. The short form for this is called sport tech and art tech. We have quite a number of companies. They are doing game development, and some are doing film movies, technologies, movie content, or some are doing art creation and making use of innovative technologies in sport areas and art areas, something like that. This is a very simple way to present our cluster companies, but you can see that we are trying to support the entire ecosystem from the upstream to downstream companies. We have content creator, publishers, we have content platform, and we also have some end user engagement business in our ecosystem. So we have a large number of companies. They are doing mobile game development. Some are doing PC or console games. And in recent years, because of the advancement of technology, a number of companies, they are moving towards the extended reality game developments. We also have some companies working on digital entertainment tools, and also some of them are doing distribution and licensing business. And we have some companies doing the content and team management. Talent Esports is one of the famous esports companies of us. Last year, I know that they did a sharing in the APRU Esports Internship Fellowship Program. And our next speaker, Charles, they have been running a tournament platform. So maybe I will let him to share more about to you later. And on the esports side, Cyperport has got government policy support. Back in 2017, the financial secretary of Hong Kong announced to the public that, all right, we have to study how to support the esports industry in Hong Kong. We have seen a lot of successful cases in the world, including mainland China, in the US. The esports industry actually very prosperous. We need to think a way to push the local industry to the next level. So at that time, the government commissioned Cyperport to do an industry study to understand and to propose how to promote the esports industry in Hong Kong. So in 2019, we got funding from government. The amount was 100 million Hong Kong dollar. And then we make use of the government money to do some key things, including we make use of the funding to build a dedicated esports arena. We make use of our Cyperport shopping mall, the atrium of the shopping mall. We turn it into a dedicated esports arena, professional venue. And we also make use of the partial funding from the government to run two esports funding scheme to support the industry activities. Our strategy of doing esports in Hong Kong is that we try to focus on three areas. One is competition, the other one is technology, the third one is career development. These three pillars are the fundamental of our strategy. On the competition side, we try to increase the frequency and impact of the competition. We try to support some important matches, tournaments in Hong Kong. We hope that we can make the scene noisier, and we can attract more attention from the public, from the key stakeholders. On the technology side, as what I have said, Cyperport is a digital technology incubator. We have quite a number of technology companies. They are working on gaming related businesses. So we advocate the technology application and technology innovation. We hope that we can support our Hong Kong companies. They do a lot more technological innovation application throughout the esports and gaming business. And we understand the importance of talent cultivation. So we provide career development activities for the local youth. We try to educate the public that actually esports is a profession. We have to put resources to develop this profession. We also provide a lot of assistance to the entrepreneurs throughout their entrepreneurial journey. All right, let's take a look at this Cyperport esports arena. As what I've said, we made use of our atrium of the shopping mall, make it to become our dedicated esports arena. We provide a turnkey solution to the industry people so that they can save a lot of time, money, effort, manpower. They can organize their events at our arena much more easier than everywhere. Our capacity is not really big. We can support 200 to 300 people on site, but in Hong Kong, this scale is reasonable. If they need the sort of large scale tournament championship, we will recommend them to make use of some public venues, maybe some stadium, which can accommodate over 10,000 people at one time. But you know, this scale it's not easy to run this kind of scales activities in Hong Kong. And we also have indoor and outdoor support. For example, one competition, they are doing live events at our arena. They can also make use of our outdoor area to do the live cards simultaneously. They can organize the outdoor party in our outdoor area. So it's very funny. And I've mentioned we have some funding scheme to support the industry people. Our focus is that they can make use of our funding support to organize competitions and events. They also can make use of our financial support to run talent cultivation and training programs. We also support the companies to join overseas exchange programs. For example, players, they can join overseas bootcamp training through our support. And I can say that in the past few years, we have supported many esports competitions in Hong Kong. Some was done at some were done at Cyperport, some were done outside. We supported the local esports association and also the local sports association to run esports events. We have supported an esports Premier League in Hong Kong. We also have supported the Hong Kong Football Association to run the FIFA E-Nation Championship. We selected Hong Kong teams to join the Global Challenge. We also have supported the Hong Kong Automobile Association to run the e-motorsport competitions. Our Hong Kong players got a high rank in the World Championship. On the talent cultivation side, we supported the local esports companies to hire talents from the industry, from the education institutes to work for them as an intern. For example, we have supported Razer to hire 2 interns. The 2 interns, one worked on PR activities and the other one worked on sales and marketing. We provide financial assistance to the employers. So talent. One more thing, we also supported the local institutes to give away some scholarship to students who study in esports related programs, maybe game development, maybe esports competition organization, something like that. Okay, this diagram shows you the impacts of the esports events we have supported. Actually, the prize money is an accumulative one, a total of across all supported events. We have around 3 million prize values, and also we have 46,000 players joined in various competitions so far. We have 3,000 more total content hours and online viewership over 10 million. This is what I'm going to share with you is the theme of esports crossover STEM education. Hong Kong has been promoting STEM education. The Education Bureau in Hong Kong, they have a lot of money invest in STEM education. But we see this one very good business opportunity. If you try to make use of esports concepts to teach STEM education, and with of course with some funding support behind. On the left side, this is about a RoboMaster robotics challenge. The game is developed by DJI. DJI runs this global scale tournaments. The Hong Kong organizers is one of Cyperport's companies. They have an office here. They are running tournaments year on year, and this year is their 4th edition. They have over 200 schools joining this competitions. and they will have one Hong Kong representative to join the national championship in Shenzhen later. And the whole games is very e-sport, very funny. You may check the website, the email, the YouTube link about this engaging robotics competitions. On the right-hand side is about racing. It's the sort of first-person view racing. It also makes use of 5G technology so that you can remotely control the car, even if you're not in their Cyperport's area. You can remotely control the car from anywhere, maybe from Mexico, maybe from the US, maybe even Korea. However, we have some companies doing very good achievement, making some good achievement. We have esports companies. They're doing the sort of VR esports competitions. They have got some funding from investors. We also have companies, they won in the local digital entertainment grant awards. We have supported various kind of esports companies, some as esports competitions, some are for hardcore gamers, some are for different audience, like elderly. We also have supported the Hong Kong Golf Association to run the golf championship. They make use of the golf simulator to select the representative to play in the real golf. We also have worked together with AWS to run the Deep Racer esports tournaments. Okay, we also supported the Hong Kong game companies to expand their business footprint. Last year, we supported 10 Hong Kong companies to join a delegation to Nordic countries, mainly in Finland, in Sweden, and Denmark. The companies can join the Nordic Games conference, and also they were connected with Supercell, the global the game assembly, the game habiter. This kind of very famous, very significant leaders in the gaming industry. So this Cyperport flagship event, we run this event annually. We call it Digital Entertainment Leadership Forum. The short form is DELF. This year, we're going to organize our event next month on the 25th to 27th. Our main theme is around Web3 entertainment and also AI. We have a lot of prominent speakers. We have secured a keynote speaker for us. He is Mr. Nolan Bushnell. He is the founder of APRU, the game legend who invented the Atari game console and also the Pong machine. Actually, he is supporting his son to run a Web3 esports company globally, and they are going to set up their regional headquarters in Hong Kong. So I think that's all for my time, and I hope that you can now have a basic understanding of Cyperport. And let me introduce our next speaker, Charles, who is the founder, CEO of our Cyperport incubator, Loot esports company. Maybe I pass the floor to Charles to introduce himself and his business to you. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Terence, for the very extensive presentation. It was very interesting, and thank you very much for your introduction. So I'm Charles, and I'm the founder of Esports, which is which under its umbrella has several esports initiatives. So leaguepass.gg, an online tournament esports platform that is alumni of the incubation program of Cyperport. We graduated in 2022, and professional esports team and marketing services to help brands engage with gaming audiences. So now it's very easy because I started this esports journey in 2016. It's very easy to step back and give you these three core offering that we built, but it didn't start. It was not all planned like that. And what I want to do today is to give you a very personal and very insightful, I would say, sharing experience on how it was to build from scratch those esports initiatives. So it all started in 2016. I was actually in Macau, where I'm still based. I do split my time between Macau and Hong Kong. For some people who are not very familiar, Macau is also a special administrative region of China, which is located at the border of China and 1 hour away from Hong Kong. A very small territory, but as some of you may know, it is sort of dubbed as the Las Vegas of Asia. And what happened in 2016 is esports was, although it was, for some people, although it started maybe 20 years ago, esports as we know it today was sort of getting tractions in the media, was getting really started. And what happened is that in Las Vegas, they started to have esports in casinos. So in Macau, we started to see esports as a potential new business and diversification strategy for the industry, because Macau is mainly led by the gaming, so as gaming as in casino industry. So I was working in a advertising agency here in Macau that started to be interested in esports. So basically they asked me, what can we do with esports? What is it and what can we do? So I really started from that with these two simple questions. I started from that blank page. So the first thing I did was to conduct a sort of a personal market study of what was esports, where it was very active, and the type of business that we could set up, and especially what could we do out of Macau. And there were several things, of course, that we could have done. Several key business, such as actually creating a game that would be an esports game, creating an esports team, and organizing tournaments. Creating a game require a lot of funds, a lot of experience that we didn't have, so I eliminated it. Creating an esports team was very interesting, of course, but the issue is being in a country like Macau is a very small country of around 600,000 people on the territory, meaning that you have a very small pool of talent, and therefore a very small pool of very, very good players. So that's also something that we eliminated. So the last thing was, and which is the essence of esports is video game competition. So let's organize tournaments in order to understand it better and get into this business. So the first thing we did was in 2017, we organized a tournament with the University of Macau. We did, it was interesting for us to partner with the University of Macau because we could have a free venue. When you don't have a lot of resources, you need to basically find partners that can help you and that have a similar goals. And we knew that some students at the University of Macau were interested in esports. I think they had maybe a couple of small initiatives before. So we're like, okay, maybe we can allocate a bit of budget to do something more significant at the university. In exchange, we can have some students to help us run the tournaments. We can have a venue, and we can actually have a pool of attendees because they were right in our target audience. I think it's still fair to say that the esports target audience is going to be between 16 to 35 years old. Of course, it goes below and beyond, but that would be the core audience. So students were actually a great pool of participants for viewers and players. And we organized a tournament. It was quite successful back in the days. We had around 300 people come in. We organized two tournaments, one for League of Legends on the PC and one for the mobile game Clash Royale. And long story short, so although it was a success, everything went well. I then reflected on this and said, okay, it's going to be very hard to earn money with this type of tournament. And it's going to be, if we want to organize bigger tournament, it's going to require significant resources and budget. Therefore, through this experience, as we learned to organize our first tournament, I realized that we could actually do it online. So if we do it online, no matter where we are, we're going to be able to reach players across Asia and potentially beyond. During this tournament, we organized basically two tournaments for two games, League of Legends and Clash Royale. And I realized that so Clash Royale back in the days was very, very popular. It's a mobile game. I realized that it was quite easier than for some other games to organize a tournament online. And there was another thing that was quite particular that doesn't happen with all of the games. Clash Royale was actually accessible on the same servers from China and the rest of the world. While for many, many games, usually China will have their own separated server. So we could actually reach a very, very wide pool of players online, whether they're from China, the rest of Asia, or the rest of the world. So that was one of the reasons that got me also very interested in organizing tournaments for Clash Royale. And also, I think that's important for a lot of things in life, but that was a game I really enjoyed and that I'm still playing today, 7 years after. So I think that was that helped a lot in the journey, as you will understand. So here we go. Instead of going for another physical tournament, we start organizing online tournaments. So I built a very, very simple website by myself. Actually, I have a business background, not a tech background. So I did that on WordPress and started to build a website simply to communicate about what we do, reach participants, register the participants, and then organize the games. And to make it fun, we made a little point system that was sort of a loyalty program. So for them to, even if you basically don't win the tournament, don't win any prize, if you participate to many, many tournaments, you could still get a little something at the end. And I think people really appreciated that. So we were organizing weekly tournaments with monthly finals, things like that. And I did that for actually many, many, many months on weekdays and weekends. My wife, girlfriend back then, was helping me to run those tournaments. So it was basically, it was building the site and the business during the days, organizing the tournament in the weekend. So it was very, very time consuming. But the advantage of that is that in a span of a few months, we learned a lot because we organized many tournaments. And what happened from that experience is we realized that it was a nightmare to organize online tournament. And I was like, now you have a pretty good experience when you play a game on your own, whether it's on your mobile or your PC. But when it comes to organize online tournament, it becomes very stressful, not only for the organizer, I mean for the player, because you need to show up at a specific time. You don't know yet against who you're going to be. It might be a struggle to get in touch with your opponent. What happens if somebody doesn't show up, or what happens if the opponent tried to cheat, or what happens if he doesn't finish the game, or many, many, many things can happen. So it was very, very stressful, and players were asking a lot of questions. So while we were organizing all the tournament, you need to do some sort of player support, and we were only two. So it was very stressful. So with that experience, I was starting to think, how can we make this better, less stressful, easier, and make it in a way that we could scale it? And that's where the journey of building League Pass, the online tournament startup, that tech startup project that was incubated at Cyperport, really started, thanks to that experience. So I reached a point at some point where that website that I built on WordPress was, I used so many plugins and things like that. So it was quite interesting because we could do a lot of things, but it was definitely not suitable for a real product. So that's when I started to get a real developer to rebuild entirely the platform and do the product that we thought would be better for everyone. So that was really the beginning of League Pass. But I'm gonna do a little bracket now on that journey. I will get back to it later and let you know how this project got into Cyberport. Because what happened is, building that site, apart from seeing opportunities to build a better esports platform to organize tournaments, we started to grow a community of a lot of players, specifically for Clash Royale in Asia and beyond, but I would say mainly in Asia Pacific. And what happened is we started at some point to see some sort of professional players joining our online tournaments, and we could see some players that were not really known as professional beating them. So now we started to see, okay, we can get in touch with players that are really good, but that are not at the professional level or that are not part of any team. So we started to think, maybe, although we couldn't do it before in our physical constraint of Macau, now maybe we can start our own team, and that could actually be a way to get into the esports team business, but maybe also just to help us market our tournament platform. That's how we saw it at the beginning. So we hired 2 players, basically to compete for us in some competition, but also to help us run the tournaments and create a bit more engagement on the League Pass platform. And shortly after that, and to be honest, that was not a calculated move, these players told us that, oh, Supercell, so Supercell is the game developer of Clash Royale, a very successful company from Finland that got acquired by Tencent earlier, a few years ago. And so the players, because they had a lot of insights, a lot of information that we didn't have, told us, oh, Supercell is going to start a real professional league for Clash Royale. Maybe we can apply. So if we didn't make the move of hiring these 2 players at that specific time, we would have never heard of that, because Supercell started their esports league behind closed doors. They approach esports organization that already got some sort of traction in order to participate to that first the initial season of the league. And so we applied. We got, thanks to the players, we got the contact at Supercell, and we were trying to say, hey, we are doing this. We have built that community of players who organize those tournaments every week. We have players in our team. We're interested in applying for the league. And this was a big deal, because so far everything we've done in esports was self-funded by that advertising company in Macau. And now we had the opportunity to get supported by Supercell to build our professional team. And so we applied, we built our case, we really pushed everything we had on end, and we at first we got rejected. And they said, you guys did a really good job. We would be really happy if you come back in for the next season. But now I'm sorry, for the Asia Pacific, for the Southeast Asia region, sorry, all the slots are full. So that was actually one of the first big lows. It was not a failure, but it was, we felt really down, because we saw that was an amazing opportunity to get into the first season of the first ever professional Clash Royale league. And I think maybe a few days after, luck turned out. one of the team that was a Hong Kong Esports, I think, bailed out. They probably had I don't know the reason. Either it was because of a lack of players or a budget or just other priorities. They decided to not go into the league. So we were the last, basically Supercell coming back and say, hey, Charles, we have one slot empty. Do you want to get in? So that was a big high because it was very unexpected. And now the real professional esports team journey started. So what it means is financial support from Supercell, hiring up to 6 players. It would be traveling to Taiwan in order to play the game in a real studio where the game would be shooted and live every week, prize pool, potential sponsor opportunity. So it was like sort of the dream come true. It was very, honestly, very unexpected. I never thought that I would be able, maybe a year after getting into esports, having such an opportunity. So it was, that was really amazing. And that was also the starting point of a very, very, very interesting journey, because I actually didn't understand what building an esports team was. It was a challenge, and I'm going to share with you a few things that I hope will help you understand the esports business a bit better. So when we started the team, at first, because we didn't really know anything about what it was to run an esports team. So first, and we had a very short time before the league started, I think maybe a couple of months. So we had to rush into hiring players, finding a place in Taiwan for them to stay, find a manager to take care of them during daytime, and a lot of other administrative things. You need to make contracts for the player. You need to have a system for them to buy their food and things like that. A lot of high level, but a lot of very, very low detail tasks to do. And I was a bit short-handed, so it was quite interesting. So the first thing that was really nice when we got into the league is Supercell flew us to Malaysia in order to attend the trial. So that they helped us at the beginning, because we didn't. They organized some trials, so they sort of shortlisted talented players that teams could then hire in their team. So that was where the first competition began, because all the teams arrive at the same time, are seeing the players, and basically all the teams are going to be interested in the players, and you need to start negotiating with them. You need to convince them why they should join your organizations and things like that. And back in the days, I think we were the team with we didn't really have a track record as a team, because what we've done before was mainly organizing tournaments. So we didn't necessarily have the credibility that other bigger organizations had. So we were a bit of a challenger. But anyway, what we did is we started from the 2 players we hired initially, and we were like, okay, we don't really have a lot of time. It's gonna be hard to build synergies, so we're gonna rely on these 2 players to build a team according to the people they already know. We're gonna trust their instinct, and so on and so forth. Long story short, because it's been 18 minutes already, that was one of the first major mistakes that I've done. Because what happened is there were young players. I blame myself for this decision, but they basically made a team of friends, which was good in some way, because we had a very good spirit. The daily life was pretty good. The atmosphere in the house was good. But the issue is that they were not really pushing each other to go beyond, to work better, and some of them were not the most, unfortunately, talented players. So that was one of the first mistakes we made early season. Relied too much on the players. Then I think I was being a bit naive as well when that started, and I was thinking that because we would get into the league would get a lot of exposure, a lot of viewership, and that sponsors will just create some sponsors opportunity that will come to us. That was the second biggest mistake that I've made is when you're building an esports team, it's not all about the competition. If you want to monetize it, you need to see it as a media. You're not building a sports team, you're building a media, meaning that you need to be extremely good at creating content. So which it's also something that that you need to take into account when you're building your roster. You cannot only get the best players, because if you only get the best players, if they have no audience on their own, if they're not comfortable building an audience or sharing, their journey on social media or else, that could actually impact your organization and the future of how you monetize it. So that was one of the thing that I understood, I think, after the first year running the esports team, is I cannot be solely focused on building the best roster and try to win the games. I need to really have a content and media strategy if you want to get a chance to get sponsors. Because when you pitch sponsors, if you only sort of pitch the viewership of the league, that was actually quite high back in the days. It was like maybe 500,000 views every week. That's not enough, because you're not in control of that viewership. You need to build your own media, your own social media channels. You need to basically promote your own players. So that was something that I understand a bit late, but better later than never. So we started working on that actively, and we started to build content around the players, post more frequently. We built mini documentaries about the team. Actually, I invite you guys to, if you want to go later on the Kicks Esports YouTube channel, there is a mini documentary series talking about this. So that was quite interesting. And other interesting thing is that what was really good during the Clash Royale League is that we got to traveling to Taiwan and Korea. Actually, the last 2 years, the year after was fully based in Korea, and that was amazing because we were in the OGN building, which is a big that belongs to a big conglomerate in Korea, a big media conglomerate, and there was that whole building that was dedicated to esports with many at different floors. You had many esports arena and studios to shoot some of the biggest league in Korea for League of Legends and other things. So it was really like a different world compared to where I was in Macau and even in Hong Kong. Exactly. I can see in the chat. So that was very amazing. And to end on the Kicks esports part, because although there are many other things to say and funny things about players and funny insights, I want to go back to the League Pass platform and how and our Cyberport journey. But maybe to end on that, what happened in 2020, and that was also a very insightful learning experience. In 2020, Supercell decided to change the structure of the league and go back from, so we were playing in a team format, so get rid of the team format and go back to an individual format. And that happened sort of suddenly without talking with the team prior to that. They only got us all the team manager from around the world once they made the decision, meaning that basically all the time and investment effort that we made across the 3 years suddenly were not worthless, of course, because we built our own team reputation, but suddenly shut down. And that's something very, very important for you guys to know. It might be obvious to some people, but not for everyone. Unlike traditional sports, games are private intellectual property. They are managed by companies, by businesses that have the power, and that's totally okay, and that's normal because they built their IP, but they can really change the rules suddenly. Whether if tomorrow you start to organize your football competition, you can sort of do it freely. If you want to organize or build something around the game, you have to respect the rules of the game developer, and you may have to to be in touch with them. So if they make a very sudden move like this, there's not much you can do, and that can really impact your business. So that was a bit tough, but that was still nonetheless a very great learning experience. I would do it again, to be honest. So no regrets, but that was a sort of a painful decision because we were not the master of that decision. So that's something to understand if you get into the esports industry, that at the moment, the game owner, the game developer is really the game developer is very powerful when it comes to making decision in the esports scene of its own game, and that's all right, but that's important. So I come back in time a little bit now, and while building the Kicks Esports team, we kept on developing the platform. So actually, while we were rebuilding the platform, I was focusing a bit more on building the esports team. So once we had built the new version of the platform with a lot more features that we could do before, that was the time when, as we started to get a solid product, I saw the opportunities that there was in Hong Kong and with Cyperport, of getting some funding assistance and help in building esports venture. So I think that's something also quite important. I was in a territory, Macau, that was, I wouldn't say that they were against esports, but there was nothing really done by the government to push the esports industry. Usually, Macau is quite in sync with China central government when it comes to decision on important strategies like this. And China was actually recognizing esports as a sport, which was actually one of the first country to do it. So China was very supportive of esports. So I thought that it would follow in Macau, but it didn't really. It did after, but it took some time. So there was not a lot of, I would say, help that I could receive in Macau in order to build that venture. And I was starting to see that in Hong Kong, there was a lot being done by the government. There was a lot of big events happening. So I was thinking that it would be better for me to be to set up the company in Hong Kong and develop the business further in Hong Kong. Also the target audience, the pool of players, everything was bigger in Hong Kong, so it made sense to do it there. And we started to develop the project in Hong Kong, and I then got aware of that opportunity of getting into the incubation program of Cyperport, because one of the segments, as Terence showed it earlier, was digital entertainment and esports. And so, I submitted the application, made a nice pitch, business plan, nice product demo, everything. And I pitched the project to get into the incubation program, and I got rejected at first. That was, once again, one sort of a low time failure. So I think it's important because, sometimes when people like me share their journey, they will not tell you all the bumps. So I think I wanted to be very honest with you today and share with you exactly how it happened. So that was okay. I think what was really good in the way Cyberport handled it is once they reject you, they will host a sort of like, post application session where they actually explain to me that they really like the idea, they see the potential, but I think maybe were not convinced by anything, or something was missing in the pitch. So one person from Cyberport went through the pitch with me and said, oh, maybe you could add that, maybe you could do it, get rid of that, do it differently. So they gave me actually a lot of pointers on what they expected during the pitch. And so I, went back, I reworked it, and I wait for the next batch to apply again. And so I did it again. I had the chance to present, and this time I came in much more prepared with a pitch I was very confident in, because also I knew what they were expected, and this time it worked, and that was a really big win. So same when you receive that kind of a news, So you know that you're gonna get some funding assistance to develop your product. You're gonna get some other opportunities to meet investors, some learning workshop, a lot of programs opportunity. And so that was the beginning of a very, very interesting journey as well with Cyperport, and a lot of help. So we did receive, of course, funding by being in the incubation program. But apart from that, we got many other opportunities. We got the opportunity to get in touch with brands to introduce what we were doing, our project. We received additional funding from the esports event scheme that Cyperport is running. So they had several batches of to sponsor events. So you would usually have to come up with I would say a tournament, an event theme and plan, and so you would have to apply, tell them how you would run this tournament, how many people you target, how you're going to market it, how you're going to run it, and so on and so forth. So apart from developing our online esports platform, we got the opportunity to organize several physical event at the Cyberport venue. So we would enjoy funding to run the tournament, but also the venue itself, which is a very nice esports venue. So that has a lot of value, because if you would have to pay for a venue like that, it would be very expensive. So that was a massive help. So that helped us to build our brand credibility, but also our portfolio. So you can actually, we can share maybe that later. We have a few videos showing the highlights of the tournaments online as well. So that was a life-changing, I think, experience to get into the incubation program of Cyberport, because we would have never been able to do such things. And we also got, for instance, a very tangible help, some funding to hire an intern. So we would be able to hire an intern basically for almost free for 1 year, and then that intern joined our company after. So basically we had an intern after 1 year that was fully trained, that understand our tech stack, that would be really ready to contribute and bring value to the organization. So that also is a massive help, because when you run a startup project like that, hiring people is extremely expensive when you don't have a lot of fun. So that was a massive help. And so a bit more on the product. What was also very interesting is, thanks to that esports team that we built, we had direct connection with Supercell, and so we could leverage that connection to contribute to our League Pass product. So we actually got in touch with Supercell, and we asked them if we could use their API to integrate it to our platform, and that became sort of the one of the strong positioning of League Pass to differentiate ourselves from other esports tournament platform out there. So we were able to integrate that API in order to fully automate the online esports tournament organization. If you remember at the beginning of the talk, I told you that one of my strongest motivation doing this project was because it was a nightmare to organize tournaments. And my ultimate goal was to make online tournament as easy as playing a normal game. And that was one more step in that direction. The idea was that for people to register to the tournament on our website, but then when the tournament will start, they would just need to open their game, and they will receive automatically the game invite and be matched with the right opponent. When they finish their game, the result would be fetched back to our platform, update it, and move on to the next game, so on and so forth, until the end of the tournament. And that's what we've done, and that was working pretty well. But I think what was I would say, to come back now on the business and give you lessons about this, maybe some roadblocks that we found building that project, although everything was working technically. There were several things. If we wanted to really scale that offering, we would need to replicate that for many, many games. And that is extremely hard to get the type of partnership that we had with Supercell with a lot of other games developer, and to get access to their API. Not all game developers actually allow people to do that. So that was hard to scale it to other games. The other interesting roadblock that I didn't see coming is also, it was actually really better for most of the players. Some people would actually not really bother to read the instruction, and they would just show up to the tournament and ask, oh, what do I do? But the problem is, by the time they do that, they already lost their game, and our system would just eliminate them automatically, which create a lot of frustrations. I think players at the time were not necessarily ready to have such an automated journey. I think, once again, that is true for esports player, but also for professional and non-professional esports player. You usually deal with very young audience, which is something to keep in mind. So they're not necessarily gonna listen to you. So that was yeah, that's, I think, something that insight can be helpful for a lot of other type of businesses, not only esports. It was the monetization aspect, because we're dealing with very, very young audience, both on the player side, but organization side. Our tool was a tool for organizers, not only us, to organize better tournaments and scale them. The idea was that one tournament admin could handle like thousands of players, which is what we achieved. But the thing is, most of those online organizers were usually people doing that also out of passion. They were not necessarily professional organization with a lot of funding. So paying for extra tools was not necessarily something they could afford. So our sort of target customers loved the product, but they were not ready to pay for it. So that's something that usually in entrepreneurship you're gonna hear is, make something people something people want. It's true, but I think it's even better if you make something people want to pay for. So if we can't make something people want to pay for, but you have a lot of people who want to use it, you might be able to monetize it in different ways with advertising, for instance. But this requires you to build a very massive audience, and creating this sort of massive audience and network effect is really hard to do. Now we are talking about almost like a social media model. So, building an Instagram, a Twitter is actually very complicated. So that was the tough part that we I would say encounter in building League Pass, is creating a product that people would both love and pay for it. So that's still something we're trying to figure out. So I think these two experiences were probably the most interesting. Maybe just a short one on what we did after. When the league, the Clash Royale League changes, and we sort of shut down the team, we acquired a lot of experiences, and we sort of reflected on this, how we could use that experiences running the team to do another business in esports, or actually just to monetize our esports activities. And that's where we venture into marketing service to help brands tap into gaming audiences. Basically, instead of just promoting our own team, we decided to help brands reach gaming audience with other team, other medias, influencers in gaming at large. So we work with Twitch, we work with gaming influencers in order to help brands like Red Bull, Lacoste, to advertise their product within the gaming space. So so that's how we bounce back from the team model, essentially. So thank you very much. I think that's it for my part. I'll be very happy to dive into this topic if you have questions.
Well, thanks, Cal, for the sharing. I believe that we all will agree that we have heard a very genuine, very interesting story about Charles. He has shared his journey of game lover, how to start an esports business, and his sharing has given us a lot of insights. And I think during this Q&A session, will not be too long. I try to focus more on some areas, try to take out more from Charles. I have heard a lot of entrepreneurial stories before, and Charles one is really interesting because I think that he has shared with us some entrepreneurial lessons. So my question is that what sort of entrepreneurial lessons you can derive from your stories about the creation of esports companies? Please.
Thank you very much, Terence, for the question. I think in terms of lessons, one was, I think all this story would have never happened if I didn't myself, if I didn't get my hand dirty into organizing esports tournaments during my days and weekend in order to understand exactly how it works, what were the pains. Usually, if you want to start a business, you need to answer a people need or pain. And in order to usually see these things, you need to have like hands-on experience. And I think that's what happened. By organizing those tournaments, I was able to identify big pain points in the esports industry.
Seems that we can't hear the sound of Charles.
Oh, can you guys hear me now?
Is that true?
Yes, we can.
You can hear me? Is okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so one, I think, yeah, one first lesson was do something for long enough to really understand it and identify pain and opportunities for you to start your business. I think that's one thing. So that's, yeah, lesson number one. I think lesson number two was you cannot do it on your own, especially at the beginning. So you need to find reliable partners to do it. So what I did that's a good opportunity to share this, because so as you may know, I was not a tech guy, but I was building a tech product. So naturally, you're gonna need a CTO. You're gonna need somebody who can develop the product and all that. And at the beginning, of course, if you don't have fund to pay that person, you're gonna need to find another way to get them interested in what you're building. So what I did is actually first I pay a developer to do the V1 of our product. But then, of course, I wouldn't have the fund to hire him or to build constantly the product. But what was good is by doing this first project with that developer, he got really interested in the project. He actually loved what he built. So I knew that it was not just a money gig for him. He was really cared about it. So I told him, if I get into the incubation program of Cyperport, I will use part of the funding to reward you, and I will give you shares in the company. So that's one way. When if you don't have cash, you can use equity to get some people interested. So same, if you're a really good tech guy and you need a business guy to sell your idea, you can do that. If you're a really good business guy and you need somebody to build something for you, if you can convince them that it's gonna be a success, you can share equity. So I think that's something very common, but I think it's good to mention it because that's exactly what I've done. If I didn't do that, it would have been really difficult for me to keep upgrading the product along the way. So that's what we've done. So find the right people, and two, moving away from Macau, get into Hong Kong, where it was a much better, it was an esports friendly region with a lot of help from the Hong Kong government, from Cyperport, was also a very key, a strategic move. I wouldn't be there otherwise in front of you guys today. So I think that was that was very important. Yeah, there would be many other lessons, you know, that work hard and stuff like that. But I think it's not all about that. I think those are the most important.
Thank you. So the key takeaways are try to get your hands dirty. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this one for sure. It's
And
extremely important.
Second takeaway is find reliable and right partners to help you.
Yeah.
You cannot work on your own all the time, but you need partners